You ever have one of those mornings where you're just trying to live your peaceful little life? Maybe sip some coffee, stare at the lake, let the world be quiet for a second, and then out of nowhere, your HOA president storms into your house waving an actual gun. Yeah, that was my Saturday. That's not even the punchline. The real kicker. She went live on Facebook to broadcast her so-called arrest of me in front of thousands of people, not realizing she was about to expose a federal crime ring, her own, to the whole world. You can't make this up. Let me set the scene for you. I'm Marcus Thorne, and this is the story of how a petty neighborhood feud spiraled into the wildest morning of my life and maybe, just maybe, gave a whole community a shot at real freedom. So it's barely 7 a.m. The fog's still lifting off Clearwater Lake. I'm halfway to that first glorious cup of coffee when I hear the distinct growl of a Mercedes rolling up my gravel driveway. I peek out and spot Vivian Blackwood, queen of the HOA, marching out with two guys who look like they just walked off a movie set. One's clutching a briefcase, the other, I swear, has a gun tucked under his jacket. These aren't code enforcement officers. This is something else. Vivian yells through the door like she owns the place. Thorne, come out now. We're authorized to inspect. The woman's voice could sand the paint off a boat. I swear. I set down my mug right next to the old photo of Sarah, my wife, her smile catching the morning light. And I just mutter, well, Sarah, looks like the trap's finally sprung. 18 months since I lost her, but she's still my partner in everything. Back up with me for a second. I spent a couple decades building defense systems for the government, retired early after Sarah passed. I wasn't ready to leave the world behind, so I turned this cabin into a research lab working on search and rescue drones that might just save some lives. This isn't just home, it's mission central. But lately it's felt more like a fortress under siege. Vivian Blackwood. Picture a fallen real estate lawyer with a taste for power and a knack for self-destruction. She lost her license in a land fraud mess, burned through her cash, stuck with a condo and a Honda and a marriage that's holding together by duct tape. The HOA presidency was her last grab at control, but under the surface she was scheming, working with her husband Victor, who'd lined up shady investors to snap up every house on the lake cheap to build a luxury resort. The harassment started slow. Phantom violations, grass too high by a quarter inch, $5,000 fines for noise. When my drone tests were quieter than a mower threats over my research grants, the works. She didn't know the little game she was playing had set off every alarm I had wired from my defense days. And when you're messing with federal research, you're on a short leash. So I did what any sane person would. I called in a favor. Sent an email to Lieutenant General David Hawthorne, my old boss who heads up defense innovation now. Told him I suspected foreign meddling and could use a backup. Spring the trap, he said. The moment Vivian and her goons stormed in, I hit my silent alarm. Within 3 minutes, federal eyes were on us. Vivian tries to play tough flashes, some phony paperwork, and behind her, her muscle. Tommy Morrison, a washed-up casino guard with a gambling problem, flashes a gun. With them is Derek Palmer, her twitchy son, lugging a laptop, looking way out of his depth. Is that firearm legal on federal property, I ask, and the room goes quiet. Vivian smirks, tries to laugh it off, but her hands are shaking. She goes live on Facebook, all drama, trying to expose me, not realizing she's streaming a felony right into the hands of the feds. She calls out to her followers, over 3,000, watching as this whole clown show unfolds. What she doesn't get is my place is a federally registered research lab with cameras piping everything to federal servers. She's not the hunter, she's the bait. The cavalry rolls up Hawthorne in his full general's uniform, ribbons, and all flanked by his aide with a case of documents that actually mean something. He walks in, surveys the chaos, and says, "Are you threatening a federal contractor with a weapon while live streaming?" I'm not sure who's more stunned, Vivian or the 6,000 people watching online. Vivian starts flailing, accusing me of corruption, waving evidence that's just my public grant paperwork. I turn the tables, ask how she got access to my federal files. And that's when Derek panics. He's been hacking my system trying to get dirt, but realizes it's all a setup monitored by federal cybersecurity. Every keystroke's a crime. The comments on her live stream are wild neighbors piping up. She made me sign blank documents. She threatened foreclosure over a $50 late fee. Tommy finally cracks, puts his gun down, confesses on camera that Vivian paid him to scare people into selling. Even her son Derek pulls out a hard drive backups of Victor's Operation Foreign Money malware surveillance on military families. Suddenly, Vivian isn't just a villain, she's another pawn. Her mask drops, and for a second you see she's scared way over her head. My phone rings. It's my daughter Emily, Department of Justice Counterintelligence. She's been watching. Mrs. Blackwood, you just live-streamed evidence of foreign intelligence activity. We've got simultaneous raids going down right now. That's when the real twist lands. Victor, Vivian's husband, wasn't just scamming real estate. He was running an espionage ring targeting military communities, and my wife Sarah stumbled onto it right before she died. Turns out her heart attack was a hit. Then things go nuclear. Victor barricades himself in his office downtown, takes hostages, triggers a dead man's switch, threatening to leak military family data worldwide if arrested. He demands to negotiate, wants me. All this HOA nonsense, every bit of harassment, was a cover for foreign intelligence work. My own cyber honeypot, planted months back, traces his whole network. The feds move in. Drones I built jam. Victor's comms agents sweep 17 locations. Hundreds of thousands watch live as the biggest spy bust in a decade unfolds, all kicked off by one HOA Karen who didn't know when to quit. In the aftermath, the courts move fast. Vivian gets prison, though less time for testifying. Victor life behind bars for espionage and murder. Derek gets community service and a chance to turn his skills to good. The whole community gets restitution, the HOA is dissolved, and the neighborhood is reborn. Liberty Lake, they call it now. And me, I stand by the lake, the place Sarah loved most, finally able to breathe. The technology we built is saving lives nationwide. Our community is free, kids play without fear, neighbors paint their doors any damn color they want, and people have a say for the first time in years. The story goes global. Netflix wants the rights. My book's a bestseller. We started a movement for HOA reform, and everywhere I go, people tell me this story gave them hope. So yeah, that's what happened when my HOA president barged in waving a gun. She didn't just try to ruin one guy's Saturday. She exposed a whole rotten system, and together we tore it down. If you've ever felt powerless against petty tyrants, remember, justice has a way of coming out when the whole world is watching. Now, I gotta ask, what would you do if your HOA tried to pull this on you? Is live streaming the ultimate check on power, or just pouring gasoline on the fire? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like. And if you want more real stories where the underdog wins, stick around. Because sometimes the loudest bullies fall the hardest, and sometimes the little guy with a camera can save the world.